Hello and a very warm welcome. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. My name is David Roth from WPP, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us for the next 45 minutes. This web session follows on from the launch of the paper on why visual AI is the very next frontier in e-commerce. And that paper was both conceived and created with our partners on this, which is Syte. I'm delighted that Shir has joined us. Shir, a very, very warm welcome. It's wonderful to see you. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you so much, David, and I'm super excited to be here, and I'm really excited to be kicking off the partnership with the store at WPP.
Now, this is a massive topic, isn't it, Shir? I mean, to do justice both to the paper and also to the topic is going to take a lot more than the 45 minutes that we have together. So we're going to be discussing this in, I suppose, three sort of broad areas, really. The first is actually what is the role of customer experience in improving and optimizing sort of digital commerce performance. The second area we're going to touch on is the magic of visual AI, and to some people it is very magical, but I hope we're going to demystify it, maybe not take quite the magic out of it, but during the course of the next 45 minutes. And in doing that, to understand Syte's unique and very clever visual AI technology and how that's being adopted by many of the world's leading e-commerce retailers, and what all of us can learn from the experience that those retailers have had. And we're going to squeeze in a few moments talking about Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Yes, once we're all back from our summer vacations, if any people can actually get away, or at least getting away from perpetual Zooms, getting out of our home offices and doing something a little bit more interesting. But as soon as we get back, both Cyber Monday, Black Friday and Cyber Monday will be very fast approaching us. So what can we, or I suppose what we should be doing now in order to be thinking about and optimizing user experience? Well, most brands and retailers invest very, very heavily in the early part of the funnel. And that early part of the funnel is, I suppose, communication, advertising, and of course then the bottom end of the funnel, Shir, the payments. We're realizing how important fulfillment is, how critical that is in COVID times to a successful customer experience, and of course within the context of the vast increase in e-commerce that we've seen, also managing the risk in terms of fraud prevention. All of those areas critically important. But I suppose our contention would be that a lot of people are missing a really, really vital, critical component part of the journey, and that's product and product discovery. So first of all, Shir, how would you, I suppose, define what product discovery was all about? And I suppose maybe from your perspective, a little bit of insight as to, given how important it is, why has it been so neglected for so long?
Yeah, of course. Like you said, right, despite the industry's current obsession with customer experience, we're still seeing brands and retailers investing the bulk of their tech stack money in the beginning of the funnel. And I'll just switch over to this next slide that kind of breaks it down, right, like ads, and then in the bottom of the funnel, like payments and fulfillment. It's not to say these elements are not important, because they are, but it's not going to set you apart because it's the industry standard today. And retailers are missing a critical part of the journey, although innovators and early adopters are already changing the state of play by putting their money towards product discovery. And at Syte, we say that product discovery is the gateway to the entire experience. Matching up the right customers with the right products at the right time is everything. And now we can do that with new emerging technologies that create the most effective infrastructure and intuitive experience for product discovery. And at Syte, we do that with visual AI. So that's why we really believe that product discovery is the gateway to the whole experience for shoppers. Because at the end of the day, if a shopper can't find what they need or trust that the retailer will show it to them, they're not going to find out how great your shipping is or your packaging is, because they won't even get there.
And why do you think product discovery has been sort of left this type of stage now to start to deep dive and try to optimize? Why wasn't that done right at the very beginning?
I think, honestly, I just think that it wasn't taken into consideration. I think that many people were like, okay, how many people can we get to our site? How many people can we get there to, to actually see what we have to offer? And then in their minds, free shipping became a huge thing, or expedited shipping. So then that was something else that everyone started focusing on, especially with the rise of Amazon. And I think that many people didn't realize that you can bring all the people you want to your site, but are they able to actually find that, the products that you work so hard to create? And I think that's just like the psychological aspect of e-commerce that many people didn't really think about until, the past couple of years.
So in a sense, maybe it's the natural evolution of going from sort of technical solutions, key distribution solutions, now to looking at key customer experience solutions. So let's move on to AI. A lot's talked about it. Those two little words mean very different things to different people, and visual AI, a newish terminology, I think is something that we are all going to have to understand a lot better, and understand how it impacts our consumers and how we can use it to provide a much better consumer experience. So let's go from the very basics. What is visual AI?
Yeah, of course. So visual artificial intelligence is a computer science discipline that trains machines to make sense of images and visual data the same way people do. So with the help of visual AI, machines don't just see, they are also able to understand and perceive the meaning behind images in accordance with how the algorithm is trained. So for example, they may be able to categorize objects within an image and understand if each object is a table, a chair, a lamp, just as a person would by comparing them to images they have previously seen in their lives. Visual AI is also the technology that enables facial recognition, visual search, QR code scanning, and much more. And it works because AI engines are trained by looking at hundreds and thousands of categorized labeled images. And the visual AI engine then processes and learns that every pixel so it can refine and expand its understanding of different objects, just like a human would.
Now to what extent, Shir, is visual AI, in the context that you're talking about it, in any way sort of related to, cameras watching you, or is this absolutely nothing to do with any of that?
Especially in the sense of Syte, it has nothing to do with cameras watching you. In the sense of, product discovery and using visual AI to leverage that, it's more of allowing you to shop with a certain way, or have a shopping experience that's facilitating your journey. So for example, if you found a picture of something that you like, whether it's on Instagram or on Pinterest, you're able to then take that photo and shop by image. You can upload that photo and find the most visually similar products to what you're looking for. So it really enables the journey of that, of the shopping experience.
Now, I think we're all really understanding the significance of applications that are much more visually rich and clearly both video and photography in various different guises. Presumably, the technologies that are driving the whole notion of visual AI are going to play a really important part in sort of a seamless visual to finding experience for the consumer.
Right. It's exactly that. And it really helps shoppers have that good experience. Like you said, it translates for shoppers the feeling of following your inspiration or receiving very attentive service online. So the experience that many of us are used to in store, we're now trying to translate and bring that experience online. And that's really, at the end of the day, what we talked about in the white paper, as well as the human touch of visual AI and bringing that face-to-face experience we grew up with in the online.
And there does seem to be a sort of a contradiction in a sense, the embedded in AI and the human touch. In a sense, they are other ends of the universe. How are these two things combining together at the moment then?
Yeah, well, when we're talking about Syte's product specifically, because it's actually based on human-like understanding of granular aesthetics, as well as built around understanding a shopper's needs and context in that given moment, it's pretty much just as good as any store associate would do, right? Because if you walk into a store the associate would try to understand what your given intent is in that moment, right? What are you specifically looking for, right? Usually they say, can I help you with anything? Are you looking for anything specific? So just like a store associate would, that's kind of what the visual AI is doing as well.
Okay, so that gives us a little bit of understanding. Let's delve a little bit deeper to understand, you know, how the theory matches up to the reality, and maybe you could give us a little bit of both an understanding and then after that a little bit of a demonstration as to what visual AI is all about in a practical sense, and how it really can help get a much better consumer experience, and I suppose and a win-win for the retailer as well in terms of more engaged consumers and
Right.
more sales.
Of course. Totally. So, just again to go back a little bit about Syte and what our mission is here. So we're the first product discovery platform for retail. We use visual AI to create intuitive search and discovery experiences for all types of shoppers. And our goal is to make shopping seamless, intuitive, and delightful for all shoppers. As the digital revolution unfolds around us, we're bringing retail into step with consumers' everyday lives by harnessing the power of visual AI. So to give everyone really a high-level overview, we've raised $71 million in funding. We have 9 patents, which is the highest number in the computer vision space, 15 years of R&D experience by a CERN expert who's our CTO today, and a 95% accuracy we're able to ensure with the results of our solution. Below are some of the clients that we're actively working with. We focus on 3 main verticals: fashion, jewelry, home decor, and furniture.
It's interesting to look at Farfetch there. I've just noticed Farfetch obviously has a joint venture with a number of players right across the world, including some of the most leading technology players in the world. So it's interesting to see that even they see the advantage of visual search and the way in which you're doing it.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to briefly talk about 2 major changes impacting the industry and why Syte kind of falls into play in helping solve these pain points that we've been seeing in the past few years. We've seen, retail was completely transformed by the pandemic. Many industries were. We see that in January of 2019, we were at about almost 14 billion average monthly visits in e-commerce traffic globally. And by mid-2020, we already hit 22 billion. And we see here that this exponential increase is something that, it's the direction we were already heading, but COVID accelerated that. And now we're seeing that brands are competing more than ever for the attention of their shoppers, and digital transformation is a key component in giving you that competitive edge against others. So to briefly talk about omni-channel experiences, and David mentioned in the beginning that we were going to briefly talk about, some tips and how you can actually use the data that we were able to gather last year during Black Friday, Cyber Monday to properly prepare for this upcoming season, and how you can take, that advantage and make the best out of your website. So there are really a few points here that we like to talk about. Really creating experiences that are geared for the right mediums, right? People have different intents when they're shopping on mobile or when they're shopping on desktop. So making sure that you're gearing for high ticket purchasing on desktop, because people feel more comfortable making high ticket purchases on a bigger screen, for example. So really gearing your mediums for the intent of the shopper in that moment. Also talking about making shoppers feel seen and understood, and that all goes into personalization. And we'll talk about that when we talk about Syte solution as well, and how you can make a shopper feel like the brand really understands them. And then, of course, eliminating dead ends to make every touch point to promote continuous discovery. Many times when I know when I'm shopping, if I reach a point where I'm on the product page and they ran out of my size, sometimes there's not really anywhere else for me to go past that. And I don't want to hit that dead end when I'm shopping. I want to constantly be inspired by more products. And that's really part of some of the tips that we've learned from last year in Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And to just briefly talk about some industry stats, we've seen over the past 3 years that online sales are skyrocketing, right? There's an exponential growth over the past 3 years for every single day during that Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend from Thanksgiving. And then we saw from 2019 to 2020, there was an 18.42% increase in conversion rates for e-commerce as a whole. And yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the things that is clearly going to be true is that this year is going to be even bigger on on all of those measures. Quite how much bigger is anyone's guess at the moment, but there's some interesting predictions that are going on at the moment in terms of the growth that we're going to see. Some of that growth clearly is very much pandemic related, but a lot of that growth is definitely going to be here to stay well after, hopefully, the pandemic is long gone, and may that be very soon.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. We're hoping for the best. So to talk about what Syte saw during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, this is just aggregated data that we saw amongst all of our clients during the Black Friday, Cyber Monday season last year. And it's divided into different verticals, the ones that we focus on. So you can see that our clients specifically saw an 88 point, well, in fashion, if we're looking at the left-hand side, an 88.1% increase in number of sessions and almost a 90% increase in conversion rate. In jewelry, it was even higher. It was 182% increase in number of sessions and 118% increase in conversion rate. And then for furniture and home decor, 17.72% increase in number of sessions and 113% increase in conversion rate. And this is just what our clients saw. Of course, they were leveraging Syte's solution to see these results, but it just shows you the power of not only our solution, but of course the holiday season as well combined. So we're going to go ahead and talk about one more concept we like to talk about at Syte called the new consumer. And it really just means, trying to cater to the audience that we have today. Gen Z and millennials, we've pretty much taken over the market. Anyone under the age of 41 today is considered, right, either a millennial or a Gen Z. So, we grew up with technology, which means that we have really high levels of digital expectations. And a simple thing like a page taking more than 5 seconds to load can ruin the whole experience for anyone, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how quickly we've come just not to tolerate speeds that aren't instant anymore in terms of downloading, going from page to page, visual, video. If it's not instant, you move on to the next thing.
Right. It's exactly that. And with these stats that we see down here, right, 1 in 3 shoppers leaves a brand they love after one bad experience, and 92% will leave after 2 or more bad experiences. So really that customer experience is crucial to not only keeping your loyal shoppers, but also the new shoppers that are coming to your site. And finally, the age of inspiration overdrive. So not only are we constantly, online shopping and on these digital platforms, but we're also spending a lot of time on social media. And about 4 billion people globally are spending about 2.5 hours a day on social platforms. And that means we're constantly being inspired by different products, whether it's on Instagram or Pinterest or Facebook, whether it's by advertisements or the influencers that you follow. You're always being fed more and more inspiration. And the question here at Syte that we like to talk about, and this comes full circle, is are we capitalizing on that moment of inspiration and driving it to purchase?
But inspiration is still going to remain amazingly important. The growth that we're seeing in user-generated content, the growth that we're seeing in live streaming by social influencers is quite extraordinary. And that is providing in itself huge amounts of inspiration.
It really is. And we're seeing even like on TikTok where they started allowing you to start shopping what the influencer is talking about. And that kind of brings in the concept we're talking about here, where how are we going to connect not only, the content that we're seeing in the videos that we're providing, but also directing the shoppers to that path to purchase, to find those products. And now it's starting to become more and more of a trend, but the path to purchase is still not what it should be. And really, that's kind of what we're here to solve, and what I think the industry is here to solve, because we're seeing more and more social commerce and more people connecting not only their social but to their e-commerce and creating this omni-channel experience. So we're going to briefly talk about Syte, and I'm really excited to share our product discovery platform with everyone here today. Like I said, our goal is to really make shopping seamless, intuitive, and delightful for all shoppers. So while we talk about the platform, let's talk about the 3 core capabilities that power our platform. So the first is our visual AI algorithm that we've developed all in-house. Just to give you guys some context, 50% of our company, about 50%, is in R&D, working constantly to improve our technology. We have a hyper-personalization capability, which we'll talk about in just a bit, and NLP, natural language processing. For those of you who are not familiar, it's an algorithm that understands the content on the site, but also the queries shoppers are typing in. So a really good example of an everyday NLP we all use is Google's autocomplete. You type in 1 or 2 words in Google, it kind of predicts your sentence for you and knows what you're looking for. So we use that same technology to understand what shoppers are looking for and show them the inspirational images to help with their journey.
Now, to what extent are those 3 elements, in a sense, the essence of what AI visual search is all about?
So our visual AI, right, that's our bread and butter. That's something that we've developed, that we really use this to leverage all of the solutions that we're about to see on the next slide. The hyper-personalization is something that we actually started really focusing on because we see that personalized experiences are something that the industry is now looking for, and there's a big demand for it. So that really applies to one of our solutions that we're going to speak about in just a bit. And then the NLP, the goal really is to just understand the intent of the shopper. And that is really part of the technology as well, where we're leveraging, okay, let's show the visual AI and let's show the visual similarities of products, but let's also understand the intent of the shopper in that moment.
Okay, great.
And here are just some numbers that our clients are seeing on average. So about 424% average return on investment, about a 10% average order value uplift, and a 177% conversion rate uplift.
That's not bad return on investment.
Yes, it's definitely, we're definitely proud.
And over what type of period?
This is just in general. So we aggregated all of our clients and and we just took the average of what everyone is seeing. So just everyone.
Okay, great.
So this is our product discovery platform and what we are currently offering today. And again, the reason why I keep saying product discovery platform is because our goal is to be part of the customer experience strategy for the retailer. We're not here to just, provide one line of code to say, here you go, implement this and goodbye. Our goal is to not only provide our product discovery platform, but also to help the retailer optimize the solution so they can be as successful as possible. And that's why we have our discovery console up top, which allows the retailer, along with a dedicated customer success manager at site, to optimize a solution by A/B testing, adding merchandising rules and ranking strategies, have full transparency on the analytics, right? So what exactly is site bringing to the table? What solutions are working best for you? And really everything is fully transparent so the retailers can actually see what they're getting from site. Now, within the platform, we have 3 suites of solutions, and every suite caters to a different pain point that both the retailer, but the shopper as well, are both experiencing. So the visual discovery suite, the goal here is to inspire the shopper visually throughout their entire journey so they are constantly being inspired and they're never reaching this dead end. And so within the visual discovery suite, we have the camera search, we have the recommendation engines, which are the shop similar carousels, the shop the room, shop the look, and the discovery button, which we'll talk about in just a bit and see how that works. Next, we have the merchandising suite. So the merchandising suite here, it's actually a word we made up. It's search and merchandising combined. And the beauty of this suite is the power that our visual AI algorithm has to look at an image and convert it to text. Now, why is that so powerful? And the benefits are twofold. First, it's very powerful for the retailers because we're able to take their entire product catalog and automatically deep tag millions of products for them, right? Just to give you some reference, we can deep tag 1,500 images per minute. And what this does, it alleviates the operational efficiency for the retailer, but also it saves them a lot of time. And most of the time, these retailers have people sitting in-house manually tagging attributes for every product in their catalog. So we're able to automate that for them. And it really allows them to focus on things that they could be doing otherwise. So not only are we enriching the metadata for the retailer with these tags, but then the metadata that we enrich then powers the text search on the site. So for a shopper, when they go in on the site and they type in something that they're looking for, they will get the accurate results that they are looking for. Because at the end of the day, if the retailer didn't tag black cotton round neck halter top, and then I'm a shopper and I type in black halter top, and those tags weren't assigned in the product catalog, then I wouldn't have gotten those products as in my results to begin with.
I mean, tagging is one of A, most time consuming,
Yeah.
B, most frustrating, both frankly from the retailer perspective, the manufacturer and the consumer, because tagging, as we all know when we do searches, is certainly not a precise science.
Right.
Explain a little bit about how that works and the advantages of that, because it feels like that gives you a much more granular ability to be able, or for the consumer to be able to find things without a lot of manual tagging, or at least even semi-automated tagging, which isn't that great either.
Of course. So let's just go into an example and I'll show you exactly how that looks and what I mean by our tagging solution. So can you guys see my screen here with the tagging?
We can indeed, yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is our backend tool that we just show how our solution is able to apply these attributes and tag different products in the catalog. So if I go ahead and click on this image here, you'll notice that right away our algorithm's able to detect that there's a skirt, that there's a shirt, that there are 2 pairs of shoes, that there are necklaces, there's a sunglasses. And then within identifying all the various products in the image, we go ahead and tag attributes for every product. And that's the power of the deep tagging, because we're able to describe what exactly you're looking at and then describe the attributes for each of these products. And same goes for furniture. So I'll show you a furniture example as well. You'll notice the rug, the sofa, the seats, the table, the art, the lighting. And this really saves a lot of time for the retailer. And of course, the standardization to make sure that you're standardizing the tags amongst your entire product catalog. So since we're already here, I'll show, what can these deep tags provide, and then how does it affect the customer experience for the shopper? So this is a before example. So we're going to do a before and after here. This is a Trois Suisses. They're a French retailer, one of our clients. They were a client of ours ahead of time for the visual discovery suite. But then when we launched our merchandising suite about a year ago, they came to us and said, we're really not happy with our text search. We'd love to see what yours can provide because we're really not happy with our current solution. So sorry about that. I think my internet is a bit slow here. Okay, I'll let it load in the meantime. And then I'll go ahead and explain the hyper-personalization while we wait for this to load, and then I'll come back. Okay, so we're back here in our current offering, and the last suite that I wanted to talk about was the hyper-personalization. And I'm not going to go too much into detail because for the sake of time, I want to give us enough time to talk about the white paper as well and other things that David and I have topics to speak about. But really briefly, the hyper-personalization suite is there to provide personalized recommendations for shoppers on the website so they feel like the brand understands who they are, what their current intent is, and what their style is. And this is really just showing personalized product recommendations for the shopper, but also, making them seem, okay, this brand knows what I want. And we're able to do this by understanding the current intent in that given session for the shopper, but also we're leveraging our visual AI and the deep tags by actually understanding what about the products does the shopper like. Because if I looked at a black button-down shirt and I really liked it, but I didn't end up purchasing it, the brand can say, oh, she liked something about that shirt. She didn't buy it, but maybe she liked the color black. Maybe she liked the button-downs. Maybe she liked long sleeve. And then on an attribute and more granular level, we're able to provide more personalized recommendations for the shoppers. And this is something that we're seeing a huge success with because, again, personalized experiences is something that we're really focusing on and we see the industry is heading into. So unfortunately, my internet is not allowing this video to load. So instead of showing you the before, I will go ahead and show you the after and how accurate the text search results look because of the deep tags on their current website today. So
we'll trust you about the before then, Shir.
I appreciate it. I can send the video to whoever wants it. So this is Trois Suisses' website today. And if I go ahead and go to the search bar and I type in red dress in French, so robe rouge for anyone who understands, you can see here that the results are appearing automatically below. That's part of the NLP. So similar to how Google completes your sentence for you, we complete the results in real time with images as you're typing. Now, if I go ahead and click enter, again, you'll go ahead, you'll see the red dresses that are appearing, on the catalog, on the PLP, and you can find all of those red dresses. Whereas before, on this example that we can't see, they were getting anything that was red. They were getting a red pen, they were getting a red bathing suit, right? Because the tags were not done correctly, as well as not having that NLP that leverages the text search as well. So that's really the deep tagging and the text search aspect. But I really want to go back and take a moment to really show you what the visual discovery suite is all about and how we're able to leverage visual AI to allow shoppers to shop visually and shop by image. So I like to start off from Instagram because I'm like a prime target market.
Everything starts at Instagram these days, so yeah, feel free.
Perfect, thank you. So this is an influencer that I follow on Instagram for quite some time. She has 2.6 million followers. She does a lot of different brand partnerships, and I always get inspired by her looks. And as a shopper, I usually just take screenshots of what she's wearing so I can kind of recreate it later on, and so forth. And so in this specific example, I was looking at this outfit the other day that she posted, and I'm sorry about this. Okay, I'm logging into my Instagram, so please ignore that for a brief moment. So we'll go ahead and go to We Wear What's Instagram page back again. And again, you'll see here I found this outfit that I really liked. So as a shopper, what I usually do is I'll just take a screenshot, because if the influencer is not paid to tag the brand, she won't. So I'll go ahead and take a screenshot of the outfit. And then I'm going to go to Dynamite, right? They're a brand that I really like. I'm one of their loyal shoppers, and I know that they have the camera search capability. So right here, you'll see the camera button, and that's part of our camera search. Now, on the right-hand side, you'll see the inspiration gallery, which the retailer can update however often they please. This is really up to them to update this whenever they'd like, depending on how often they update their product catalog. But over here is the upload a photo, which is the camera search capability. So what I'm going to do is upload the picture of the influencer I just took a photo of. And what the algorithm is going to do is it's going to find the most visually similar products that they have in their catalog that resemble to what she's wearing. And then I can recreate that look from my favorite brand's website. Same goes for the top. Right, and she's not wearing Dynamite, but I can recreate the look with the brand that I like and shop that entire look, even from the necklace. I can find all the glasses that they have. So the goal here is to really allow the shopper to shop via image and get that inspiration from elsewhere and then bring it online.
Right. And all that, in a sense, is done visually. So
correct.
Visually deep tagging.
Correct. Exactly that. And the reason, and you know, that's me as an intent-driven shopper. But what if I have no idea what I want? I'm just scrolling through Dynamite's website because I want to see what they have in stock, right? I just like to look around. So if I went to the shorts, for example, right, what you'll notice is we have something called a discovery icon. And this appears on the PLP on every single image. So what that does, it really gives me another mode of inspiration, because let's say I like this outfit here. I can go ahead and click on the shop similar. I can find the shorts she's wearing and then other visually similar shorts. I can find the top she's wearing and other visually similar tops. I can find the hat she's wearing. So as a shopper, I have this ability to look at the model and say, oh, I like her entire look, and not have to go back and now look for that entire outfit separately throughout my journey. And I have it all there in a click of a button. Now, if I go ahead and click on the product to go to the PDP specifically because I want to see the shorts and how much they cost and if they have my size, you'll notice we have the discovery icon on every image. But what we also have, if you scroll down, we have the shop similar carousel below, which is part of the visual discovery suite as well. And the hyper-personalized recommendation carousel. So this is part of the hyper-personalization suite. And you can see here that this is really personalized recommendations for me as a shopper.
And to what extent, I mean, we've all experienced various different sorts of levels of recommendations.
Correct.
To what extent is this really hyper-personal as opposed to just a guess made on some of the images you might have clicked in the past?
Yep, it's a great question, and I have a slide prepared just for that. So here is the hyper personalized process flow that we've developed to really create personalized recommendations for shoppers. Now, the first step in this hyper personalized process is taking the past website sessions of everyone that's been on the site and the deep tags associated with the products of every product that a past person had interacted with on the website. Then we take the current session data of the given shopper. So if I'm the shopper in this scenario, they're going to look at all the products that I interacted with in this given session, as well as the deep tags that are associated with each product. Now, to just take a step back for a second here, most personalization solutions on the market today do something called segmentation, where they'll have these segmented groups. And if you looked at a red shirt and I looked at a red shirt, and they were similar shirts, will be put in the same segment and get recommended similar solutions. Whether they do segmentation in different ways, right? There are many types of ways to do it, but at Syte, we don't do segmentation at all. We really take into consideration every individual as their own specific person and user and that current session that they're on. Because at the end of the day, I could be on the website today buying something for my mom, and then next week I can go on the website and buy something for myself. And my intent is completely different both times. So
to what extent also then do you see the sales impact of that hyper personalization? Is it something that consumers really do relate with and translate into A, a better experience, and B, higher sales?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually saw a client of ours about 2 weeks ago that I was looking at their analytics to see exactly, what the effect of the hyper-personalization had on their website. And they had a 40% increase in click-through rate on desktop and a 44% increase in click-through rate on mobile, just from the hyper-personalized recommendations compared to past personalized recommendations. And really, to continue the process, and what in addition, what we add to this process is something called like the multi-layered neural networks. And the neural networks that we apply here are, one, the behavioral data associated to me as a shopper. So all the e-commerce events associated to me, products that I've looked at, that I've liked, I've added to my cart, I've purchased, but also the deep tags associated with a specific industry. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the call, we focus on 3 main verticals. So fashion, jewelry, home decor, and furniture. Now, each vertical we focus on has its own neural network, and each neural network is basically a dictionary of words that are adjectives that describe products in that vertical. And so in this specific example, right, if we're just going to take into consideration the results that we're able to provide from the past website sessions, we're using the furniture neural network here, and we're using the attributes that are associated with that. So we look at products in a granular level rather than a huge segment that just grouped a bunch of products into that segment. We say, what attributes about this product did Shir like in her session? And then find complementary products to that. And that's how we're able to create these personalized recommendations, in addition to ranking strategies and merchandising rules the retailer can either use to promote or demote different products depending on profit margin, stock availability, and so forth.
And just in terms of speed, how quickly does the AI work all that out and then provide the solution, the change, the image to the consumer on the site?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we're at about 500 milliseconds, if I'm not mistaken, and we're always looking to improve the speed. And you saw it for yourself in the example I just showed. It was very quick, not even enough time for me to even click on the X to get out of there, right? So we always look to improve the speed, and we always look to make sure that we continue with that, personalized and a really seamless customer experience on the site.
Well, we've only got a few more minutes left. Time's absolutely whizzed by. So I've just got a couple of questions before we end, which is,
Okay.
It seems immensely complex in a sense. The technology behind it is
Right.
sort of rocket science and impressive. How long does this take to implement? Is this a solution that is months in the implementation, given the deep tagging, the technology, the personalization, or is this something that's quick to implement? Because I think one of the things that we've all found out during the last 18 months or so is speed to market is unbelievably important now, and better to sort of be 80% and fast than 100% and never there.
Right. Right, it's true, and I'm happy to say, before we talk about the actual implementation process, that we are platform agnostic. So Site Solution can be easily implemented on any type of e-commerce platform. But to really talk about implementation specifically, there are really two main ways you can implement Site. Either via JavaScript code or direct API. It really depends on the retailer and how customizable they want the UI or the look and feel of the technology to look on their website. Usually implementation takes about 45 days. So it's very quick compared to other solutions on the market. We have an amazing team, an onboarding team, technical team, customer success team that really is with the retailer every step of the way to expedite the implementation process. And we're always there to do it as quick as possible, especially with Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming up. Anyone that comes to say, from here on out, we're looking to get them implemented right before, so they're able to benefit and reap the benefits of Site Solution on their website during the holiday season.
And even the deep tagging is a quick process?
Yeah, because the deep tagging, really what we need is the product feed of the retailer. And then we go ahead and deep tag the entire catalog and give back the tags to the retailer. So our solution can tag 1,500 images per minute. So it's relatively quick.
So lastly, in the minute that we have left, first of all, how can people get hold of you? That's the first thing. And the second, what advice would you give people who are watching this, are intrigued by how visual AI is going to start to impact their business? What's the first steps that they can make?
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, and I'm always happy to give tips, especially with the holiday season coming up. There's something that we created at Syte called Discovery Design, which is something that our team created, which is a new approach to e-commerce focused specifically on creating user experiences that make product search and discovery intuitive. And there are really four main tips that we have within that sector. One is preparing the infrastructure for the website with highly detailed product metadata with the deep tags, because that'll allow your products to be searched much more easily. Then there's also ensuring that you take into consideration all the pathways that people take to come to your site, whether it's someone that goes on Google and types in what they're looking for and they get to your site from there, making sure that they have no friction in their journey. Also, by using data wisely to identify trends and tailor inventory experiences to really understand what your shoppers want. And also, finally, personalization. Personalized experiences are huge, and catering to the ways that each individual prefers to shop is a really big, I would say, aspect of the customer experience on the site. And that's really the tips I would provide. And I'm going to write my email address here. Sorry that I did not do it before. For anyone that wants to learn more and they'd like to contact me, I am more than happy to speak with anyone about Syte, and even speak with you to understand which clients you think would be really relevant for a solution like this, and we can walk through all of that together.
Well, Shir, thank you very much indeed. We've come to the end of our time. We could have gone on for a lot longer. It's fascinating. Please do download the paper. The URLs at the bottom of the screen, so you can understand a little bit more about, I suppose, the technology that's driving this, the consumer adaptation, and the way in which visual AI is going to very much change the way in which consumers do search for products, and their satisfaction on sites, and how that's going to translate into increased sales and increased customer satisfaction. But for the moment, Shir from Syte, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you all very much indeed for watching. It's been a pleasure for us to host everybody, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, everyone.